Prepositions Part 2. Learning Objectives. By the end of this module, the students shall be able to identify the kinds of relations indicated by prepositions and their uses. The student shall also be able to use appropriate prepositions to form grammatically correct sentences. Concepts in module. Types of relationship expressed by prepositions: place, time, agency, instrumentality, manner, cause, reason, purpose, possession, measure, standard, rate, value, material, level, change. Let us look at some prepositions with their uses. Some prepositions of place are among, at, on, before, behind, below, beside, between, from, in, into, near, on, over, through, under, up, upon, within. The preposition among is used when we talk about more than two persons or things. For example, there was no thumb pin among all the stationery items. The preposition at is used for smaller places as well, as places of little importance. For example, his sister stays at Albertinia. On. It is used when something is in actual contact of the object being discussed. For example, the baby is standing on the carpet. Between is used when we talk of two things or two persons. For example, there is some space between the two cars. Into. It implies some kind of motion from one medium into another. The kids are jumping into the pool. In. Usually it is used for large places, continents, countries, cities, etc. For example, he resided in Sussex for a while. Over. It is used when there is no contact with the object. For example, there were thick clouds over the mountain. Through. Used as a function word to indicate movement of something from one end to the other, from one side to the other. It also indicates agency of medium. For example, the preposition to is used for through. Used as a function word to indicate movement of something from one end to the other, from one side to the other. It also indicates agency of medium. For example, they are wading through knee-deep water. The preposition to is used for expressing direction or motion towards something. For example, they walk to school every day. Under, beneath and covered by. For example, the car is buried under the snow. Upon another word for on. It indicates motion of one thing upon the other. For example, the policeman jumped upon the fleeing thief. Within. In or into the interior of or the parts or space in close by. For example, the photograph looks beautiful within the frame. The following are some prepositions of time: after, at, before, by, during, for, from, in, into, on, since, throughout, until, within. After. It is used to indicate a point of time when something happened or happens later than. For example, people like to have a sweet dish after a meal. The preposition at is used with a point of time. For example, the family gets together at dinner time. The preposition before means earlier than. Here is an example of it used in a sentence. Brush your teeth before going to bed. The preposition by means not later than. For example, the flight will reach its destination by night. During basically denotes an action within a particular period of time or while the event is in progress. For example, the players had a discussion during the drinks break. The preposition for denotes length of time during which an action or state continues. For example, they will be in the library for an hour The preposition from marks the beginning of a period. For example, he was the president of the company from 1994 to 1999. The preposition on is used before days of the week and dates. For example, they went for a picnic on Friday. The preposition since indicates an action which takes place during or throughout a given period of time. For example, her party has been in power since 2012. Through or throughout indicates action from the beginning to the end of a period. She remained awake all through the night. Throughout, from the beginning to the end of a period. For example, he was a brilliant student throughout his school years. The preposition till marks the end of a period. For example, we had to wait till the mechanic changed the tire. Until, replaceable by till. It marks the end of a period. For example, my mother won't let me watch television until I finish my homework. With. It is the instrument with which an action is done. For example, he is getting better scores with his heavy bat. The preposition within suggests that the performance of an action is limited to a certain period. For example, the rescue team arrived within minutes of the accident. Some prepositions of agency or instrumentality are at, by, through, and with. Some prepositions of manner are by, with, and in. By. It is used to express the agent or doer of the action. For example, you gain knowledge by reading good books. Through. Something with limits on top, bottom, and the sides. For example, the children were excited when the train passed through a tunnel. With. It relates to the instrument with which the action is done. For example, Samantha sealed the envelope with glue. In. It is used with places. For example, the painting will be sold at the auction in Detroit. Some prepositions which indicate relations of cause, reason, and purpose are for, of, from, through, and with. Prepositions which indicate possession are of and with. For. It is used to express a purpose. For example, they have assembled together for dinner. From. Expresses purpose or reason. For example, an umbrella helps us in protecting ourselves from exposure to excess heat. With. Expresses reason or cause. For example, he was grimacing with pain. Of. It expresses possession. For example, we are the employees of this company. Of. Expresses possession. For example, cooking is one of her specialities. Some preposition which indicates relations of measure, standard, rate, and value are at and by. One example of a preposition which indicates material, level, and change is from. At. It expresses the measurement. For example, the racer whizzed past at 180 kilometers per hour. By. Expresses measurement or standard. For example, the floor space is measured by the meter. From. It expresses the level or extent. For example, the situation turned from bad to worse. From. Expresses change. For example, from a mediocre student, she turned into a topper.